Hey guys, welcome back to the MCLAREN rebuild project. We're working on the 650S again today. Last video you guys saw me install the Chinese body kit onto this thing that completely transformed the overall presence of this car. First thing today, we're gonna keep that energy because Laser Sterling has once again agreed to make me some custom modifications for the OEM parts to make it look more aggressive. So let me pull out really quick. A comment I got last video a lot obviously was, it needs a diffuser on the back. Of course, it's not installed yet. Obviously I'm putting a diffuser on it. I didn't think I'd have to explain that. This is the OEM diffuser. A lot of you guys remember this from a lot of videos back, but I actually had to repair this OEM diffuser because it was just cracked and broken. But it's fiberglass, so it's actually really easy to fix. And because the paint job actually didn't turn out great, I need to repaint it. So anyway, I'm gonna repaint this OEM diffuser to gloss black, like straight black. So I asked Laser Sterling, I DM'd him, and asked if we could actually modify this OEM diffuser to look like an aftermarket, very aggressive one. There's a lot of generic, universal, like fins for cars and stuff. So he went ahead and modified them to see if they'll fit, and it looks fantastic. He's a very nice guy. Go check Laser Sterling out. I don't think there's anything I'd really change. I'll give him my feedback, but yeah, Laser Sterling, print it, man, print it.
So my main goal this week is to get the car roadworthy, so I started by putting the miscellaneous panels back in the car now that I'm confident the engine swap was a complete success with no mechanical issues. Instead of leaving the door panel off with a bunch of loose wires exposed, I went ahead and just put it back together knowing that my problem now, after troubleshooting it extensively, is likely a faulty door switch module. Everything underneath the door panel seems to be fully operational, so there's really no reason to leave it apart any longer. Plus, replacing the door switch module can be done with the door panel on. In goes the tonneau service port cover and the carpet.
Well, as we head off to the hardware store, once again, I'm gonna take this time to install the 70mm dash camera I just got. This is a 360-degree dash camera, and 70mm is sponsoring today's video, but let's just see how good this thing actually is, shall we? Let's get it unboxed.
The 70mm Dashcam 4K Omni comes with everything you need to start protecting your vehicle right away. Inside the box, you'll find the dash cameras, both front and rear, for full coverage of your vehicle. It also comes with a hardwire kit, the GPS receiver, installation tools, and a few other little things.
Couple different boxes here. We have the actual main unit here, and then a hardwire kit they also sent, and then a CPL filter, which will reduce the glare a lot.
Installation is basically what you'd expect and very similar to most other dash cameras. You mount the camera in the spot you want it, run the cable to the power source you want to use, plug it in, insert the SD card, connect the app, and you're pretty much on your way. Now, a bit of a disclaimer here. My installation is a little DIY since I'm just a normal dude installing it, but I did my best to make it look clean and out of the way. It does have complete coverage of the vehicle, front and rear at all times, and you can adjust the front camera however you want. Both cameras are powered by Sony's Starvis 2 sensors, and it actually gets really impressive footage, even in low light. It's also equipped with AI-powered motion detection, so it alerts you to potential collisions and has parking protection as well. And you can actually connect to it with 4G LTE, allowing you to upload live footage and monitor your vehicle remotely.
Nice dash camera so far. It gives you a little chime every time you start your car, just to let you know it's recording. My other dash cameras are all like power on. One thing I can't stand about cheaper dash cameras is just like they're always on and the display is like bright and not fun to look at. And so it just ruins like the whole ambiance of the car. This one is just like a nice refined curved screen and it's just easy to look at. Anyway, I can genuinely say it's actually a nice thing to have in the car. Yeah, overall so far, good impression.
And there's a lot more to this camera than I can put in this video, so go check out their website if you want to see more. But just with the video quality and the AI features and everything, the 70mm Dashcam 4K Omni is really just a nice dash camera to have in your car.
Good. First time in the gym for like a week. Crazy thing from MCLAREN is freaking $300-something thousand car when it was sold. Ridiculous that I have a $300,000 car. It's not worth that now, I understand, but still. MSRP, boy.
All right, well, there you guys have it. That's the 360-degree 70mm dash camera. So far, so good. I think what I'll do later in this video is give you guys a few-day ownership report after I've driven with it a couple times. I think I'll give you guys another look later in this video. So that's a 70mm dash camera. There's a link below if you guys want to check it out. Let's get back to work. Here we go.
All right, now bear with me one last time as we try a final attempt at fixing the SAS sensor. We just have to get it done. It's starting to hold the project up at this point. You guys may not realize this, but if I can't fix this, the part I need to fix it is on national back order for the next 8 months. We'd be waiting a long time.
So I went ahead and jumped onto the steering angle sensor one last time because there was one last thing that I could try that might fix it, and that was spinning the other gear. We had been focusing on the left side gear, one that reads the steering angle and one that reads the steering rate, like how fast you're turning it. I was just guessing which one was which because the steering angle one was changing the value that we needed to be changed. However, when we got it close to the reading it needs to be, which is 0, you know, when it's dead center, the car, once it turned off, would default back to a completely wrong value. So I figured it must be the other gear that might set the default value. I know it's very technical. Nobody knows how to do this. This is literally, I think I'm probably the first person attempting to change these gears around to make it actually read correctly. All these McLaren techs telling me that you just have to mess with the gears, can't tell me which one to mess with. So I'm pretty sure I'm like the only loser doing this.
Anyway, let's move ahead a bit. The problem is now starting to make a lot more sense to me, and I'm starting to understand how the SAS sensor functions and what each component actually does. The hardest part here was definitely just wrapping my head around it.
Gentlemen, I just figured this out. I think I just figured this out. I guess I shouldn't say certainly that I figured this out, but the highest value that the steering angle will go up to is 1200. And when you're turning it and it hits 1200, it starts going back down from 1200 to a negative value, even if you keep turning it the same direction. So the sensor has to be centered somewhere. It can keep going, but it just goes 1200 to negative 1200 to 0 to 0 to 1200. So 1200 is the cap. 0 is where you want it, I think. And then it should go to 1200 or dead center 0 or negative 1200. So we want that gear, the other gear that I hadn't tried before, I want that one to be at 0 because it is changing the steering angle. And I think this gear that I'm now changing is the one that will default this back to 0. I think the other one is probably the rate sensor. I know we've spent way too much time on the steering angle sensor. Trust me, I am just as burnt out on it as you guys are. But I think this is actually the fix for it. You know, I was just going down the list trying to fix this thing, and I think this is it. The very last thing I try on it. But I can't be 100% sure until we actually do it. But this makes a lot more sense, at least. That's a piece of information I didn't know and is very relevant to actually fixing this. So let's just keep turning this thing. It really doesn't actually matter which direction we turn it. At some point, it'll default back to the 0 reading, and then it'll go either way. Go another counterclockwise. That's right on the money. 0 reading, right dead center. I'm gonna quadruple check this right now. Okay, so we're at 0, this should be dead center. So if it goes 2 1/4 left, then I'm perfectly fine. 1, 2, ESC fault, vehicle limp home. Oh, now it says fault rate and angle invalid again. So the problem I'm running into now is, even though it is reading correctly and there's no ESC fault popping up anymore related to the SAS sensor, when I rotate this 550 degrees in any direction, watch the value OK, right when I hit 550 degrees, right about there, it throws the fault rate invalid code, and then I get the ESC fault. And then when I turn the ignition off on the car, it goes back to reading OK until I ignition on again and then turn it 550 degrees in either direction. So I'm not exactly sure what this is. So if I can fix this today, we will literally be on the road. And if we can bleed the hydraulic system, this car will be almost like done. And we can actually just drive it around, go get an alignment and get it smogged and everything. No way. All right, let's try it again. No ESC fault. That's wild. Okay. So I think what's wrong is the gears kind of go off of each other. And if one gear is kind of different than the other one, I think I'm in a sweet spot where it's like at 0 up to 540 degrees or negative 540 degrees. there's a good range where they're kind of lined up, but not quite. I just cannot get it at 0 and also have a full range of motion with no error codes. That being said, 550 degrees in either direction is still a lot of play. So it's like, if we don't have limp mode, as long as I don't just get like full lock or full lock, I'll make that work for now. I just want to get this car on the road and actually like all systems go. And limp mode was getting on my nerves. So at least we have that off now, and I'll kind of work around that. So anyway, I'm going to put this back together, and then we'll move on, I think, to charging the AC system and then get this thing on a drive tomorrow or something. So I just want to, while this is reading okay, and I'm 100% sure it's not defaulted back to a wrong reading again, I'm going to fire it up and let it run for a little bit. But it's still not perfect. I don't think I can get it perfect, unfortunately. Well, we can at least drive it and hopefully get the hydraulic systems working again. A bit sputtery. PCC fault. PCC fault. Surprised we haven't gotten a PCC degraded fault though. Passenger door internal release fault. Battery management active. I don't know what that means, dude. Vehicle lit. What the frick? Vehicle lift suspended. It's kind of flipping out with the whole lift thing. See what happens if I push arrow. Turn off the parking brake. I'm just temporarily going to put it in reverse. We are in reverse. Driving. Put it in drive. Driving. Put it back in neutral. What does it say? Straight ahead required. I don't know what that means at all. This is a lot quieter than it normally is, this pump. Wonder why that would be. Why is it smoking? Oh, it's steaming. Oh my gosh, I see water in there. Oh my gosh, that scared me so bad. That scared me so bad. I really hope it's just steam. I'm gonna be mad if it's not. Airbag fault, passenger door fault, lift unavailable. So the only real faults we're getting right now is the lift unavailable, which is good. I don't know why it keeps saying it though. All right, live data says we're okay. Oh, that's full lock. What the frick? We fixed it! No freaking way! Dude! Ride height raised. It looks like we even bled the hydraulic system. Vehicle lift suspended. Closed driver door to continue operation. Ride height raised. Let's see if it is. Oh, dude, it looks like it is. No way, it actually works. We have like no fault on this thing anymore. Tire pressures, we're reading every tire pressure too. No freaking way. No freaking way. We're not getting any bad errors on it, so I'm just assuming we're all good. The hydraulic pump is not happy. It's not happy, but it... Awesome. Dude, huge freaking win. I'm hoping that's just condensation. Well, now that we know that it's pretty much fixed, like that steering angle sensor just solved 90% of the problems. There's almost no faults left on this thing. Even the hydraulic system is lifting and lowering the car and everything. Power steering, no faults, no suspension faults, no hydraulic faults. Literally, this whole thing's fixed. What an absolute win today. Maybe I throw the airbag in really quick and we go for a drive on it. The car is actually happy. Wow. There's no major faults. I'm just gonna take it on a quick test drive real quick. No smoke that I can see. It's great. Ride height normal, it says. Steering is very heavy. I don't know why. Sure, why not? Wow. Vehicle limp home, what the frick? Not happy about that. Oh, frick. This thing's wild though, holy crap. Yeah, steering's heavy, dude. Steering is very heavy for some reason. ESC fault, vehicle limp home. Frickin' steering angle sensor. Gosh dang it. Gotta be the steering angle sensor. Vehicle lift suspended. Okay, I now suspect the hydraulic system. Get some hydraulic fluid out of here. Oh, yep. Oh, frick. Oh, God. Definitely fill this back up. It sucked a lot of fluid back into it. Oh, wow, yeah. It's drinking fluid. We're so close to getting this thing on the road. Well, I'm glad I took it on a quick drive yesterday because I learned a couple things about this thing. Now that the steering angle sensor is reading correctly, the hydraulic pump and the hydraulic manifold is not happy. It works great. The hydraulic suspension works exactly how it should. It started pumping fluid where it needs to, but now the steering is an issue and the hydraulic manifold is now leaking. But now that the car's happy, it's actually throwing AC system faults. So before I figure out the hydraulic system now, I'm gonna go ahead and just charge the AC system because if that's kicking on and causing that little rattle I hear every now and then, I don't want that to burn itself up and just, I don't want that to fail. You know what I'm saying? So I went ahead and did the little borrow program from AutoZone and got some of the AC, the manifold thing, the vacuum pump. I'm gonna do it like the right way instead of just connecting the low pressure side and filling it up. I gotta pull vacuum, gotta put some oil in it, I believe. Then I'll put some refrigerant in there. And hopefully we can get the AC system running correctly and not have to worry about that anymore. And then I'll move along to the hydraulics and that's pretty much it. Let's get to it.
So I went ahead and jacked the car back up and off comes the wheel liner to access the AC service ports. And entering this job, even as small as it seems in the grander scheme of things, I was really nervous since I had never charged an AC system this way before. And this is the ultimate stress test for the AC line repairs I did a long time ago and will tell me whether or not I have to go back in there and fix it all over again.
Hey guys, Chris Fix here.
Okay, so this thing has been holding pressure for about an hour and a half. At this point, I'm about to check it. Hopefully it's still pegged at 30. But you guys may remember a very long time ago, AC lines up front were broken. And I couldn't fix it until we got an engine out. And when we got the engine out, I couldn't actually buy the correct lines to replace it. So I repaired the lines using AC, like flexi hose. Expensive stuff that was meant for repairing AC systems, but it's untested. So I'm hoping there were no leaks there. I know one joint was a little sketchier than the other ones. Go ahead and just mark it just to make sure I know that's the one that is suspicious. So hopefully it holds pressure and there's no leaks, but let's go ahead and check it. And yes, dude, we are pegged right at 30, exactly where it was before. All right, let it sit for 45 minutes and we'll actually start filling this thing up.
Man, was I happy to see this system holding pressure. I've tried my absolute best this whole time to fix everything right and to fix it the first time, so I don't have to go back to it. But remember, this is my very first time for a lot of the stuff, even including this job of filling the AC system with gauges and vacuum lines. Most cars you can just use a small can with a quick connect hose to add refrigerant, but this car came with nothing in the AC system and was open to the elements for years. So we have to evacuate all the moisture and the air from the system, pressurize it, and add oil or refrigerant back into the system so there's no risk of the compressor running dry and failing.
All right, well, it went about as good as it could have. Compressor is kicking on when it needs to, it looks like. We should have roughly the right amount in. Unfortunately, these had no pressure in them, so they're still full, but they have no pressure in them. But it's blowing nice and cold. We're at about 40 degrees, and that's nice and cold. Dude, big win. This is actually the first time I've been able to put AC on in this car, and that's just a big win, man. I'm happy to have this done for sure, and I learned a lot. So that's all that matters.
So I buttoned up a couple things on the gas filler neck permanently, and back goes in the wheel liner after a job well done.
After all the repairs I did on it, it's just nice knowing that it works. All right, well, we're making some good progress, and with the AC system finally blowing cold, this video I really wanted to get it on like an extended drive, but it's just one thing after another, and I don't really know how these videos are gonna go since I'm just repairing the thing and there's always twists and turns. So last thing I wanna do in this video is get the hydraulic system filled up again, just top off the fluid. The fluid reservoir is pretty much empty. I did notice after that first drive, we lost power steering and there was a leak from underneath it. I would assume the leak was hydraulic fluid because how empty it was, but I'm just gonna top it off and see what it says. Also, the amount of fluid that came from the leak definitely was not nearly this much. I've already put in a full can of this stuff. There's no way that much leaked out from the small leak that I found. So I'm just gonna fill it up. And if it keeps leaking, at least then we'll know how much fluid is actually coming out. And it's not leaking more. The more I put in, it's not leaking at all. Even when I was running the car to do the air conditioning, there were no leaks on it. So it's just power steering, I think. So I just want to see if it's just, you know, if it was just low on fluid. There's a chance it's that. Not a big chance it's just low fluid, but better to just check that off the list now, and if waste 30 bucks, then big deal, you know? Cool, let's just see what happens. See if I can figure out this lift system too, shall we? Alright, I'm lowering the car. See what happens. Vehicle lowering. Alright, I feel it lowering now. Ride height normal. Move stock up. Air brake system temporarily unavailable. So power steering just smoothed out. It jittered right at the beginning here, but it just smoothed out now. Yeah, power steering is a lot better. Lock left, lock right, middle, airbag, passenger door faults. That looks like it's it. See if the hydraulic lift will work. Right height normal, move stock up to raise. Vehicle rising. I just heard the hydraulic pump kick on, but I can't feel it rising. Not seeing any of this rising action. It says it's trying to rise, but I'm not seeing it rise. Still says it's trying to rise. Oh boy. But we're not in limp mode, which is nice. If the hydraulics are offline, if I change this, it'll shut down that panel. So let's see what happens if I turn this. Hey, it actually looks like it's working. Whoa. I've never seen that actually go into track mode. What the freak? No way. I've never seen that before. That's new. This panel has never worked. That's ridiculous. That's crazy. I guess I'm just gonna put it in track for now and leave it there for the hydraulics. And this should be putting the wing up or down. And obviously, we're not getting anything. So, I'm not sure what to make of all this just yet. Handling mode changing, straight ahead required. I think maybe what might be happening, I think, is straight ahead required. There's a good chance the SAS sensor, even though it's reading normally now, is still kind of off. That's what I'm thinking it must be now. Yeah, it said it was trying to raise, but it definitely didn't raise. Let's see if there's any leaks under here. Yeah, there's definitely a leak under there. This definitely is gonna feel really nice. SAS faults, we technically have that off the list. All those faults are gone. And we got charge the AC system. Going away. 2 of the 3 main things I wanted to get figured out before we can get this on the road. All of this stuff here, we can drive the car without. As long as I can figure out that hydraulic fault, this stuff doesn't make a difference to get this car on the road and registered. With those 2 things gone though, I will need to add hydraulic faults. Let's give you guys the final thoughts on the 70mm dash camera as I head out one more time. All right, things I like about it is you can change the direction of the camera anytime you want, which is nice because I can talk to you guys if I want to like this. That's one thing that almost every other dash camera doesn't have is the adjustability and you can frame the shot live too. You can see it on the screen, you can put it exactly where you want it. It's just kind of a guessing game, hoping the shot looks good and hoping you're not screwed when you actually have to use the footage. Along with that, I'm pretty sure this is the highest quality footage I've ever seen from a dash camera. You can read signs easily. It's definitely higher resolution than a lot of the other cameras I use. I'm using this camera right now to film this video. I don't think there's a single dash camera on the market today that has the quality to film an actual video like I'm doing right now. So very impressive in that regard, and it just keeps recording, so pretty crazy. So the footage is really good, and it's easy to get off of the camera too. In the event that you actually need to pull the footage off, it's as easy as taking the SD card out or just connecting to the app and just going and finding the footage in the app. And while this camera is not an actual 360-degree camera, it records both the front and the rear views. You don't need any more camera than that. The rear-facing camera also has decent quality footage. It's not nearly as good as the front-facing camera, which is the most important camera, but it does the job. That's all you really need. And it also is adjustable, which is really nice. And I mean, the bottom line is it's always gotten the footage. Every time I get in the car, it's always rolling. There's not been any glitches or hiccups in the footage or anything. So I'm 100% confident that in the event something happened, I'd have the footage to prove it. And that's really what a dash camera is for. So overall, very satisfied, and I definitely highly recommend the 70mm dash camera. There's gonna be a link below, again, in the description if you guys wanna check it out. If you need a high quality dash camera, I'd definitely consider it. So go check it out, there's a link below, and that's pretty much it. All right, here we go. So I'm at least gonna just flip it around. I don't know if I'm actually gonna drive it at all. We'll see if we can get that limp mode to come back. See what kind of codes it throws. It would be nice. It would be nice. Hydraulics are already flipping out a little bit. It's a good chance I'm gonna scrape here too. Oh man. Wow, it didn't. Air brake system temporarily unavailable. I'll try to put you guys way up here. But yeah, it's not super happy. Airbag fault, passenger door fault, driver not belted. Oops. Let's just get that fault off the screen real quick. All right, driver is belted. Vehicle lift unavailable, air brake system unavailable. It's just going between those 2 now. We haven't had a limp mode or anything come back. All right, here we go. Whoa. Oh, and there we go, ESC fault, vehicle limp home. We gave it a small amount of gas and we get the limp home, and now the steering wheel is not straight anymore. I don't know if you guys could obviously see that. The steering wheel is not straight anymore. And we are currently ESC fault, vehicle limp home. See if we have anything else. Airbag fault, vehicle limp home, stop and restart engine, passenger door internal release fault, ride height normal, and it's stopping there. All right, well, there we have it. What a wild car, dude. All right, let's back this in.
So I'm just gonna let this footage play for my own satisfaction. This is one moment that I actually felt genuinely proud of how far we've come. These last few months, with the heartbreaking financial burden of the engine replacement and all the stress that accompanied it, has just taken a toll on my entire being. I'm putting my heart and soul and finances to completing this project at the cost of other endeavors and family time. I'm just an average car lover building a dream, and while I try to keep these videos light, there were just a lot of restless nights knowing that I'm in a very tight spot. The last 6 months of this project have been the ultimate stress test for me, but this moment right here, I realized I came out the other side, maybe with less money, maybe with some missed opportunities, maybe with less family time, but very proud of this accomplishment of character. We are so close to the end, and we have come so far on this. And today we figured out the last major problem that's keeping this car from the roads. A little bit more time, and I think this thing will be at 100% very soon.
It's so nice being able to just fire it up and not have to worry every time I crank the engine. Next big thing obviously is the SAS sensor is fixed, I'm assuming, but because there's now a hydraulic leak under the car, I'm now suspecting the SAS sensor is still kind of throwing a false code. But it says it's fine in the autel, so I'm gonna just look at the hydraulic system, and if that leads back to the steering angle sensor, then that's what we'll figure out. And if you guys are watching this and you know any of these problems and have solutions or anything for me, please send them my way. I read every comment for the first few days. The reason why this door panel is not working, I now suspect, I think this module has gone bad, and I think by extension this one either has gone bad or it's not working because of this one. So I just ordered a used one from eBay that I can use some of these parts with the new one and at least having a functioning circuit board in here. So if this is the problem, there's a good chance next video we'll have this door power issue fixed too. The car is throwing specific codes as if the door module is still reading codes. It's reading internal release fault, which is this, and then climate control fault, which is this. And so it seems to me at least that the door module must be reading, it's just not working because these modules are offline. So hopefully when I get that module in, that will fix the whole issue. And then the window will work again and the mirrors will fold again. So hopefully that's the solve for that too. So now the steering angle sensor is figured out, we have an AC system that's functional and I don't have to worry about the compressor blowing itself out. And we have a good read on this door panel issue. I think we're well on our way to figuring all that stuff out. The last thing I need to figure out is that hydraulic system before I can go and register this car and get it on the road officially. So next video, I'll be looking at the hydraulic fault. Also, I think it's really odd that the limp mode that it throws when we're driving it only happens on hard acceleration. It's completely fine. And then you guys saw right when I launched it, a half second later after about 25-30% throttle, limp mode. But everything worked fine. And then the steering went crooked after that. If you guys have any ideas, please send it my way. But I think that's so specific of a problem to happen, I think I'll be able to determine what it is just kind of by thinking through it. It probably still needs an alignment badly, and that also just might be the problem. Also, Chris Slicks just challenged me to a rap battle, so let me know if I need to drop a diss track. I can make that happen.